Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, we're doing another major TikTok react video just because you guys sent me a ton of videos to react to, and I'm really curious to see what TikTokers have because some of these videos have millions of views and they make me look super tiny. So I definitely want to check them out and see what people are getting for their information. Alright, first video up, let's see what we got, and I'm going to try to watch this whole entire thing because I do think it's a little annoying if I pause it. Maybe watching the whole entire video will change my opinion of it somehow, so we'll see.
Took a trip to Costco to buy up all their Pokemon.
Okay, that's a lot of Pokemon cards. Oh man, alright, so I get why this video was sent in. It's clearly kind of poor taste to be buying that much Pokemon cards from a major retail store and reselling it. Cassius Marsh owns a trading card shop, so he's gonna resell these in his card shop most likely. And you know, can you do that? You can. Anyone can buy Pokemon cards and resell it. I don't think that's a problem. Anyone can resell Pokemon cards. But I think bragging about it is kind of poor taste because what is the point of this video? To say that you have a lot of money, you're rich, you're buying out Pokemon cards and no one else can get any? It doesn't have a good message or vibe to it. If you're going to do this, why brag about it? I think that's the poor taste of it. So I think that's kind of annoying. I don't like doing stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend anyone do it. It's not really worth it. And a lot of stores have gotten a lot of flack for doing stuff like this. So if you really do it, probably you shouldn't be bragging about it. Alright, next video up.
We found a Pokemon mystery box at GameStop. It cost us $7 and it says 1 guaranteed holo. Let's see what we pull.
Oh yeah, the repackaged Pokemon cards.
What we get.
This year we've had to lose.
We got ourselves a Galvantula. Okay, there's gonna be some head spinning here. Swoobat, Trainer, Cramorant, Choodle, Picky Peck, Dedenne, Wooper,
Whopper, 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 Whopper.
Galvantula, Riolu, Chimichurri, Nincada, Voltorb, Choodle, Rockruff, Picky Peck, Wooper, Energy, Entei Promo.
Alright,
Wow.
alright, very, very cool. Ooh, Entei, alright.
Very nice.
So I get it. I mean, these kinds of packs I bought on my own channel before. They're just repackaged Pokemon cards. Lots of smaller companies will do this, or even large ones like MJ Holding, which is a massive trading card repackager, where they buy a ton of Pokemon card products and loose booster packs, and they repackage them into unique mystery boxes, and they'll sell it from Target, Walmart, and all kinds of different places. And they are, in general, usually poor value. I think it's cool that he hit this Entei promo card from the movie that came out like 24 years ago, which I think is really neat. But in most cases, these are hot garbage. And it's great that he made like $1 value, but in general, I don't recommend you buy any repackaged Pokemon cards. I'll do it for my channel for the purpose of insight and knowledge so that you can see what's inside of some of these products. But you, as a collector, they're never worth it. Okay, next video. Looks like we got ourselves a convention.
You trying to get more celebration stuff? I mean, if you get them all, I could cut you some deals.
Yeah. Lunch boxes.
45.
40.
Yeah, for both. So 40 times 5. ETB, I'm pretty much 70.
You have 5 of these?
Well, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all 40.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
And then 70.
Hey,
You don't want
you
it?
can offer 30, but you can
I'll take 30.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't care. Plus 30, and then I'm pretty firm on 70 on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, plus 70, and then
I'd love to be at 30 on that. That's what I've been paying.
okay, so it'll be 330. Selling a bunch of celebrations, so ETB, 2 lunchbox, 3 V memories, the Pikachu, and then this Halcyon for 330 cash. Thank you, man.
All right, cool. That's like a neat little deal. I think that was an interesting little like trade. The guy asked for $45 on the lunchbox tins, and the guy said, you know, 45 is a little bit high. Can I do 30? 30? That's interesting. I would never go that low. See, I'm kind of, when I do trades, I'm a lot nicer. Like, I feel like asking for 33% off is too much, but the vendor was okay with it. So that's how it goes sometimes. Some people are more wily and are willing to do those kinds of deals. I usually do a bundle and I usually ask for between 10 to 20% off, but I have been to conventions with other collectors and they can negotiate for an hour, back and forth, over a $5 or $10 difference. And I'm like, oh my goodness, let's just move on to the next store or stall because there's just so much going on at this convention. I can't imagine fighting over a couple of bucks, but I think that's great that these guys were able to negotiate like that. But yeah, I think the thing from this video and the lesson I learned is that sometimes you can ask for bigger discounts and the vendors might just give it to you. So it doesn't hurt to ask. So maybe throw out a cool number and maybe they'll take it. Grading cards 101.
Bro, these are my favorite. Why can't I send these out for grading?
So generally speaking, if you're sending things out for grading, you're looking to get an increase in value. These wouldn't necessarily increase in value.
Wait, so I can't grade them just to have them in that little pretty case displayed?
I mean, you absolutely could, but keep in mind it costs about $15 per card to get them graded.
I don't even care. I'd pay $20 each just so I can give them to my kids and have them put them away and make tons of money later.
So like that's like kind of the thing. These are not going to ever be worth tons of money.
I see graded cards sell for a ton of money all the time. Can you explain to me why this wouldn't sell?
All right, I'll break it down for you. So the Tentacruel, it's from Fossil. Pretty cool card, but it's not first edition, and it does have some wear on it. Unless this card was to grade a 10, probably not going to be worth anything. Blaziken, about like a $3 card at most. This card has some edging on the corner. It's not really centered perfectly, so it's definitely not going to grade a 10. You'd spend $15 just for this card to still be worth less than what it was after grading. U2, definitely a card that's nice in a 10. Pretty solid card. Goes for about like 40, 50 bucks. The issue with this card is the centering. It's not centered perfectly. It doesn't have any nicks on it. So pretty good. Probably grade about a 9. But it's only going to make it worth about a little bit more than what it's going for raw at this cost. So if the Mewtwo was going to grade a 10, I would definitely say that you should consider sending it. But because it's not, I would definitely not send these. It would just be a waste of money.
Yeah, that's very common in general, is that I think a lot of cards are being overgraded right now. Personally, for me, I open up a ton of booster packs and I will send in cards for grading maybe once or twice a year. And I usually send in 10 to 20 cards. I just don't have that many cards that are grade worthy, and most people don't. There's only a couple of cards inside of your collection that's truly grade worthy, and even if they are grade worthy, there's nothing wrong with keeping them in a binder or in a top loader for 10, 20 years. In a lot of cases, it won't really degrade the value. If I want to grade a card, I can keep it for years before I want to grade it, and maybe it finally comes a time when I grade certain cards, but in general, I don't have a lot of graded Pokemon cards. And most people don't need a lot of graded Pokemon cards. Most cards don't need to be graded. I feel like grading is just kind of the standard now, where you almost have to grade every card, and that really shouldn't be the case. Most cards don't need to be graded. They can look great inside of your binders. And here's a fun fact: if you want some really cool cards, pick them up in a PSA 8 or 9, because a lot of times those PSA 8s or 9s are looking as good as 10. Sometimes it can even be regraded to be a 10, which is amazing. And they are significantly cheaper. Sometimes a graded PSA 9 are cheaper than ungraded raw copies. So at that rate, why not just pick those up?
Hey.
Alright, I'm excited for this treat.
What is that?
Oh, it's a cool Pokemon card. Let me show you. It's my favorite Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks so pretty. I think it's similar to something my ex had.
Really?
Yeah.
Had the same card?
No. I think it was fake, but it had this like moon on it. It had
like up here?
Yeah, and then it was like crawling on some little tower. I thought it was fake because it had like this like plastic covering on it, and it had like
plastic covering?
It had like a little sticker on it. I think it was like PSA.
What?
PSA? Had PSA.
PSA?
Yeah. And I think it was like a 10. So I think it would have been like
PSA 10. Your ex had a PSA 10 Moonbreon?
Yeah. But yours is so much cuter. What?
Alright, it was great knowing you.
What? I didn't even do anything.
Come on now. Alright. Yes, bye-bye.
My purse!
Okay, that was a pretty funny little skit, but I think this video was really interesting because as I'm looking at it on TikTok, it has over 1 million views. This is an in-joke, by the way, guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this might understand the joke, is that it's a Moonbreon PSA 10. The girlfriend had no idea how expensive it was. But the thing about this is that 1 million people watched this, and they understood that. This is an in-joke about Pokemon card collectors, which means there's 1 million people watching this that absolutely understands that, which is mind-boggling because that means there's 1 million people that recognize the Moonbreon. It is that relevant. It's relevant, so modern that this super cool Pokemon card, it's not some niche little hobby that you have a person here and a person there. Everyone knows how expensive and valuable this card is, which is kind of mind-boggling to me because as a Pokemon card collector, obviously there are a ton of Pokemon card collectors out there, but something like the Moonbreon not being an in-joke in the community is really wild to me.
What in the hell
looks like we got ourselves another skit.
It's a Pokemon card. Well, I can see that, but why is it encased in plastic? This has to be some sort of mistake. Don't worry, little buddy. I'll save you. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you think you're doing? That's intentional. It's a graded card. You mean to tell me that you intentionally did this? Why would you do that? You can't even play with the card anymore. Have you never seen a graded card before? Nope. This is a first and hopefully a last for me. People grade cards all the time. It's not new. It's been around for years. But why? Well, for starters, the grading company authenticates the card. Oh, so are you telling me that you can't tell the difference between a real card and a fake card? No, I can. Okay, so then it doesn't need to be in this plastic. I can take it out. No, listen, not only do they authenticate the card, but they also give the card a grade based off the overall condition that it's in. And what exactly does that do? If it gets a high enough grade, like a 9 or a 10, it can increase the value of the card. Oh, I get it now. So you did this because you're planning on selling the card. What? No. Well, if you're not planning on selling it, then why would you care about the value? This is stupid. Well, for your information, that so-called silly case that it's in also prevents the card from getting damaged. Is that so? Well, then let's put that to the test.
Okay, so that brings up a lot of interesting points, which people have brought up is what is the point of grading? Why do you grade Pokemon cards? And a lot of those points are absolutely true. The end of the day is that grading is almost necessary in the hobby, and it's kind of like a necessary evil almost. It does annoy me personally too, because sending cards to be graded, it's expensive. I don't want to spend $20 per card to get my card graded. That's hundreds and thousands of dollars that I could be spending buying more cards, and I'm spending those purely on grading cards. So obviously it's annoying for a collector, but it's a necessary evil. And the reason I say that is because it solves a lot of problems that is necessary in the hobby. The first big problem is ever selling or trading your cards, because even though he says, I don't plan on trading or selling my cards, you may plan on selling or trading your cards. And when you do that, you obviously need some proof that your card is authentic, because the only person that can authenticate it is, I guess, yourself. You're pretty much saying, trust me, my card is real, and the other person just kind of has to trust you with it. Grading saves me so much hassle, because when I post a photo of my card and say, I got a PSA 10 Charizard, everyone knows what that card's condition is, everyone knows legit, everyone knows the value of that card. I don't get questions saying, let me look at the back of your card. Can I see the corner of the card? When I say it's a PSA 10, people just assume the card is gem mint. They don't really ask to see additional photos, and they don't worry that the card is fake, which saves me a bunch of time as a seller or trader. And it's the same way when I'm a buyer. If I know a card is a PSA 10, I can just say, oh yeah, it's a gem mint card. There may be a tiny bit of whitening on the back, but not really worth it to really discuss over. I know the exact value of the card. I can make that decision in a split second. And it's that time saving for a lot of collectors that's really, really worth it. And it's up to you if that matters or not. If you don't care about a card's condition at all, and you just want raw graded cards all day long, then none of this really matters to you. But for a lot of collectors, if you don't have that grading middleman, it just takes up a lot more lift from both the seller and the buyer's perspective. All right, we got one more clip to watch. Let's see what we got.
Dude, come check this out. So what do you have right here?
So what we have, guys, is the very first ETB. You can't find these anymore, especially in this condition.
So this is the first ever Elite Trainer box.
First ever.
And what's so special about it is that this product is actually pretty expensive for Pokemon to make. So this being the first ever ETB, there's not many copies of these lying around. The two chase cards that come from this set is the Shining Plasma Storm Charizard and the Shining Plasma Storm Blastoise. And the thing is that set, the QC is just so bad that most of the cards end up being completely off center. So even getting the card itself is very, very risky, but What does this typically go for?
We have it for 7K. There's sales of 5K. You know, kind of depends on the quality of the box.
Yeah.
But, you know, we kind of priced it high. Just it's one of those things you can't find everywhere.
No, you can't. It is the best collector's item now. And I mean, like, if you just see this wall right here, you just see tons and tons of elite trainer boxes. And nowadays, most collectors, they like to collect elite trainer boxes for that very reason. It's a great display piece.
Yeah. Elite trainer boxes are absolutely wild now because back in the day, no one really collected them. They just weren't really considered collectible at all. So that's why some of the older ones, the super, super old Elite trainer boxes, are incredibly expensive. Obviously, every single new set comes with multiple Elite trainer boxes now. So there's a ton of them out there and they are very prevalent to most collectors. Most Pokemon card collectors know exactly what an ETB is, and most people have multiple Elite trainer boxes or ETBs inside of their collection. You've cracked them open, you keep them sealed inside of their collection. There's all kinds of these out there. The rarer ones are definitely very, very expensive. And this is actually one of the first rule of collecting, is sometimes the most valuable items are the least sought after ones because no one collected them until way later on. Who would have thought that Elite trainer boxes were going to become incredibly prevalent and they were going to become very niche Elite trainer box collectors that want the very first Elite trainer box. So the first of something can usually hold some interesting value down the line. It just depends on how prevalent it becomes. And obviously I see on some of the comments on this TikTok that this vendor was asking $7,000 for it, even though he just said it usually goes for $5,000. And I know some people are thinking that he's marking it up by quite a bit, but it just really depends. These are vendors and they do have to make their cut. At the end of the day, he probably expects someone to come in and negotiate for it. A buyer could potentially ask for it for $4,000 and they'll probably end up meeting somewhere in the middle. So that's just how vending kind of works. Some people will lowball, some people will ask for a lot of money immediately. It just depends on your argument, and there can be an art to this, and I'm really bad at this specific art. But if you're very good at negotiating deals, then you can make a lot of value from going to these conventions. All right, everybody, that's the end of today's video. I hope those TikToks have been enlightening or at least interesting. I think there were some really interesting ones, some that I agree with, some that I disagree with, but it's really interesting to me that these TikToks are so incredibly popular. Like I said, a lot of these videos have over 1 million views, which is astronomical to me. I think some of them have 5 to 10 million views, which is insane because there is no YouTube Pokemon card channel with that many views. It's not even close. So it's crazy how prevalent the hobby truly is on some of these platforms. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to send me in more TikToks and I'm happy to react to them down the line, and I'll see you guys next time.